Certain nations have started mass removal operations targeting Singaporean communities, and the deportation buses are running every single day. Which 10 countries are so determined to get rid of Singaporeans that they're willing to lose billions in investment money? 10. South Korea. In the heart of East Asia, South Korea has quietly shifted its stance on foreign workers, including Singaporeans. Once a hotspot for professionals drawn to K-pop, cutting-edge tech, and chaebol culture, things are changing fast. The job market is shrinking, especially for younger locals, and foreign workers are being squeezed out. Visas that were once easy to renew are now under stricter scrutiny, leaving many professionals blindsided. South Korea's new priorities are turning inward, and outsiders are starting to feel the chill. Behind the smiling faces and high-tech skyline, a nationalistic wave is brewing. The government is focused on giving its own citizens first access to jobs, housing, and education. Singaporeans, once welcomed for their skills and efficiency, are being told their time is up. Some are pushed out by silent policies. Others are denied extensions without explanation. It's not loud or dramatic, but the shift is very real. Cultural clashes are another factor few saw coming. Many Singaporeans found it hard to fully integrate into South Korea's rigid corporate hierarchy. Speaking the language wasn't enough in written. Social codes created invisible walls. As tensions rise and policies tighten, more Singaporeans are packing up and heading home. What once felt like a rising opportunity has become a quiet goodbye. 9. Australia. Far from the bustle of Asia, Australia has long been a magnet for Singaporeans chasing wide-open spaces and a relaxed lifestyle. But 2025 brought a shift no one expected. The government restructured its skilled migrant system, cutting back on tech and finance roles to sectors filled with Singaporeans. Suddenly, career paths went dark and promising futures hit a wall. Dreams of permanent residency began slipping through fingers that once held solid contracts. Political winds have changed, too, with rising rent prices and stretched public services. Australian voters demanded immigration caps. Leaders responded fast, prioritizing Aussie jobs for Aussie workers. In regional areas especially, Singaporeans were caught off guard by cancelled visa renewals and frozen job sponsorships. Where diversity was once celebrated, new rules now quietly closed the door. Even everyday life started to shift. Stories emerged of Singaporean families being told their rental applications would no longer be accepted, or that job interviews were mysteriously dropped. Some were advised off the record to look elsewhere. It wasn't overt hostility, but a tightening grip. And for many, the message was clear: Australia isn't as open as it used to be. 8. New Zealand. Tucked away in the South Pacific, New Zealand once felt like a peaceful escape for Singaporean migrants. But in 2025, the tide turned fast. The country abruptly ended its popular investor visa program, a route many wealthy Singaporeans had used to secure long-term residency. Overnight, property purchases and business ventures were left hanging. The message was subtle but sharp: it's time for a reset. Local politicians pointed fingers at foreign buyers, blaming them for skyrocketing home prices in cities like Auckland and Wellington. Singaporeans, seen as part of the investor class, were swept up in the backlash. Suddenly, being financially successful made you a target, not a guest. New immigration rules followed, making it nearly impossible to stay without essential skills. The once warm welcome grew cold. Beyond money, the social tone changed too. Job markets tightened, and a local's first attitude quietly took over. Singaporeans working in education, hospitality, and finance were told their contracts wouldn't be renewed. Others faced delays that turned into denials. New Zealand, known for kindness and calm, shifted gears, and many Singaporeans found themselves with no choice but to leave the green paradise behind. 7. Germany. Germany's strong economy has always attracted skilled workers, including many from Singapore seeking opportunities in finance and technology. But recent policy changes have flipped the script. The European Union revised its blue card system, cutting out several key sectors where Singaporeans excel. Suddenly, the pathway to permanent residency narrowed, leaving many unsure of their future. It was a harsh reality check in one of Europe's powerhouses. Language barriers added fuel to the fire. New integration rules now require foreign professionals to speak fluent German to maintain long-term residence. For Singaporeans used to English-friendly environments, this posed a significant hurdle. Without mastering the language, their stay became precarious. What was once a thriving multicultural work environment is now shifting towards stricter assimilation standards. Political shifts also played a role. The rise of nationalist parties created an atmosphere less welcoming to foreigners. Anti-globalist sentiment surged, and Singaporeans, despite their skills, felt the impact. Job offers shrank, and visa renewals became harder to secure. Germany's door, once wide open, is slowly closing, forcing many to reconsider their European dream. 6. Canada. Canada has long been a beacon for immigrants, with its friendly reputation and multicultural cities attracting many Singaporeans. However, in 2025, the government imposed a national immigration cap to control its record population growth. The sudden ceiling hit Singaporeans hard, especially those on temporary work permits, who found renewals increasingly difficult. The welcoming image began to blur, replaced by stricter regulations and uncertainties. Certain provinces like British Columbia made the situation even tougher. Due to rising housing prices and living costs, provincial programs dropped several foreign worker streams. Many Singaporeans working in tech and healthcare suddenly faced closed doors. Meanwhile, layoffs in the startup scene further shrank job opportunities, hitting those who hoped to build careers in Canada's innovation hubs. The changing landscape forced Singaporeans to reconsider their futures. Those who had dreamed of settling down or gaining permanent residency found the path blocked by new rules and public pressures. Canada's balancing act between economic needs and voter concerns is leaving many skilled professionals in limbo, unsure whether to stay or move on. 5. Japan. Japan's blend of ancient tradition and futuristic innovation once made it a magnet for Singaporean professionals seeking unique opportunities. Yet, in 2025, a wave of corporate downsizing hit foreign workers hard. Many Singaporeans found their sponsored work visas abruptly canceled as companies trimmed foreign operations. What was once a promising career path quickly narrowed into uncertainty and frustration. Beyond job cuts, workplace culture became an unseen barrier. Singaporeans reported being excluded from key promotions and social circles within companies, making it harder to advance or feel accepted. The pressure to conform to deeply ingrained Japanese corporate norms left many feeling isolated. Language fluency alone was no longer enough to bridge these gaps. On a wider scale, the rise of xenophobic media narratives painted Southeast Asian professionals as outsiders who lacked loyalty to Japan's work ethic. This shift fostered suspicion and eroded trust for many Singaporeans. The once attractive prospect of living and working in Japan faded, replaced by a sense of being unwelcome and undervalued. 4. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom's departure from the European Union reshaped immigration rules, and Singaporeans felt the effects immediately. Once enjoying smoother access as Commonwealth citizens, they now face tighter visa restrictions and reduced privileges. The global talent route, which many Singaporeans relied on, has become more competitive and less forgiving. The new post-Brexit reality is testing even the most qualified professionals. Economic challenges also hit hard, especially in London's tech and finance sectors where many Singaporeans work. Job markets contracted, and mass layoffs swept through startups and established firms alike. Tier 2 visa holders suddenly found their contracts terminated, forcing many to pack up and leave. The glamour of working in the UK's financial capital gave way to uncertainty and sudden goodbyes. Political pressure intensified the situation. Rising populism fueled anti-immigration rhetoric, targeting non-European professionals. Singaporeans, despite their strong credentials, were caught in the crossfire, with the government prioritizing local workers. What was once an easy landing spot for talent now feels like a revolving door. The UK's doors are closing faster than many expected. 3. Switzerland. Switzerland's pristine landscapes and stable economy once made it a top destination for Singaporeans seeking lucrative banking and finance careers. But in 2025, new job nationalization policies demanded that companies prove they cannot fill positions with locals before hiring foreigners. This created a steep uphill battle for Singaporeans trying to keep their work permits. Suddenly, even the most skilled faced serious obstacles. Housing policies tightened as well, with several cantons enforcing strict quotas on non-European residents. This made finding accommodation a nightmare for foreign workers, forcing many to rethink their stay. The luxury of living in Swiss cities like Zurich or Geneva became out of reach for many Singaporeans, turning dreams of Swiss life into a stressful challenge. At the same time, Switzerland's banking sector experienced a slowdown after years of regulatory changes and loss of secrecy protections. This led to layoffs and fewer openings for foreign talent. For Singaporeans who had banked on steady careers here, the picture turned grim. The country's reputation for stability now came with new barriers and a more exclusive job market. 2. United States. The United States has long been a land of opportunity for Singaporeans, especially in Silicon Valley's booming tech scene. But in 2025, sweeping reforms to the H-1B visa program reshaped the landscape. Preference shifted toward American graduates, leaving many foreign workers scrambling. For Singaporeans holding these visas, job security quickly evaporated amid new restrictions and quotas. The tech industry's massive layoffs hit Singaporeans hard. Giants like FAANG companies and startups cut thousands of jobs, resulting in many visa holders losing sponsorship overnight. Without a job, their legal status vanished, forcing sudden departures. The American dream, once bright and attainable, dimmed under economic pressures. Safety concerns also influenced decisions. Rising anti-Asian hate crimes created an uneasy environment, prompting some Singaporeans to leave voluntarily. Beyond work, the fear of discrimination and violence made the U.S. less welcoming. Together, these factors reshaped the immigration landscape, making it tougher than ever for Singaporeans to settle and thrive. 1. China. Tensions between Singapore and China escalated sharply in 2025, casting a shadow over the once flourishing expat community. Diplomatic strains led to stricter travel restrictions and sudden deportations of Singaporeans. Work agreements were canceled without warning, leaving many stranded and uncertain. What was once a promising hub for Singaporean businesses and professionals quickly turned hostile. Many Singaporean companies pulled out of China due to increasing red tape and fierce local competition. This corporate retreat meant job losses and fewer sponsorships for foreign workers. The economic environment, once full of opportunity, became a maze of obstacles and restrictions. Businesses that had thrived found survival nearly impossible. China's growing digital surveillance added a new layer of risk. Singaporean professionals in sensitive fields like media, technology, and academia faced heightened scrutiny and legal challenges. The fear of being monitored or targeted forced many to leave before trouble found them. In a country that once welcomed them, Singaporeans now face a cold reality of exclusion and uncertainty. Which country's decision surprised you the most? And how do you think it will impact Singaporeans living abroad? Let me know where you're watching from in the comments. For more eye-opening videos like this, just click on the video appearing on your screen now. And don't forget to share this with someone who's planning to work overseas. They need to see these warnings before making a move.